Hi guys! So I've mentioned in some videos before that I've went through recovery. And I've dealt with many issues, and I've also been very open about them on some of my reviews for certain books on Goodreads. And through Goodreads, I've recently had a couple of people message me and asking me about like recommendations for them and tips on dealing with their therapy and such. And you know, I realized that there may be more people that want the same advice but are not messaging me or don't know how to ask. So I have with me a bunch of books that have helped me personally through my recovery, and I'm going to give you I'm going to talk to you about them and tell you what they helped me for, and hopefully they help you in some way. Or you know, you can give them to someone that you think is going through a tough time. Because I am a firm believer that books can save lives. They've accompanied me through so many things, and at times when I needed someone to relate to, a book was always there for me. Because there are times where you just want to relate to someone and you sometimes cannot find that support or that empathy with someone else, so you can always go to a book. I am going to try to make this short, but still, you know, take my time to talk about each book, and well, yeah, we'll see how this goes. And due to the fact that I have a lot to say about these books, I'm going to divide this in 2 videos. And in the first one, I'm going to talk about more general aspects that, no, I don't know how to say this. About issues that are not that specific to something like, I don't know, low self-esteem or bullying or stuff like that. And on the second video, I'm going to go into much more specific issues like what can be eating disorders and self-harm issues. And just as a background on why I was in recovery and the issues I've dealt with, well, I've had to deal with really low self-esteem, with depression, with social anxiety, sexual abuse, cutting issues, an eating disorder, bullying, and suicidal thoughts. And I know it sounds like a shit ton of problems and like, whoa, what up with that? But each and every issue, it's just sort of a consequence of the next one. For example, the suicidal things came from the depression came from the my eating disorder came from my social anxiety came from the heavy bullying, and like cutting came from the sexual abuse. So it's just this never-ending chain of things that can happen, and so it's very important, I think, for everyone to check if you have any sort of issues, to really check in with yourself and go to a therapist and seek professional help so that they don't turn into something bigger. So first I'm gonna go with books that have helped me go through my self-esteem issues. Low self-esteem is something that I think has happened to every single one of us. We've all been at some point where we don't feel like we're enough. So I found that one of, you know, those authors and books that always get you up, you can always find yourself in a Sarah Dessen novel, always. She writes beautiful stories about characters that are complex and beautiful. It's just beautiful. And at the end of the day, I think you really connect with every single one of her characters, and it makes you feel empowered, and it invites you to accept yourself. And I really do recommend Keeping the Moon for starters when it comes regarding self-esteem issues. Pretty short, a pretty quick read. It's beautiful and it makes you feel beautiful. Next, I'm going to go with Tangled by Carolyn Mackler. It's a beautiful novel with 4 characters that, 2 girls and 2 boys that all deal with different issues, very different, and I think we can all connect to at least one of them in some level. And it really helps you see that you're not really as screwed up as you think you are. I connected a lot with 2, which was with Sky and Noah. I really connected with those 2 characters that are sort of like underdog-ish. So definitely a great novel about accepting yourself, loving yourself, and, you know, treating people right. So it's a great novel. It's very light, but still the message of acceptance carries itself very well throughout the novel. And I know Carolyn Mackler has another book called The Earth, My Butt, and Other Big Round Things, which I think deals with also self-esteem issues, but I've not read it yet, so I cannot really comment on it. I'm gonna go next with books that have helped me with depression. When you have low self-esteem and you just feel like shit about yourself all the time, it can be exhausting, and it takes so much out of you, and it can really put you in a really dark place. And some of the books that have helped me are 20 Boy Summer by Sarah Ockler, The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy and If I Stay by Gayle Forman. Oh, and Fall for Anything by Courtney. What all of these books have in common is that they all deal with loss, and in some of them they do talk about, you know, losing someone dear to you, actually losing them as in dead. Oh god, that was just a genius line. But I mean, we've all lost something that was very dear to us, be it a person, be it an object, be it something else. And when you're depressed, you feel like you lost like a big part of you, like something's missing, and there's this void inside of you. So I feel like all of these books help me put myself in perspective and see that, you know, I do feel like I've lost a lot, but I can get back a lot of it, and I have not lost everything. They are about hope, you know, that you can always get what you lost back, and even if you cannot get it back, you are not going to be broken forever. That you can always push forward through it, and that it's okay to grieve. So these 4 books really helped me out through the depression. Lock and Key by Dessen. I already mentioned the self-esteem thing, but this one specifically deals a lot with family. And I think we've all been at a point where we've had conflict with our parents, and everyone's different. I'm not sure if you've ever had like really tense moments with your family, that you're just not getting along, everything's really tense at home and difficult, and there's a lot of friction. I personally have had those issues in my family because, I mean, I was totally depressed, so I was clashing a lot with a lot of things, and there was just, things were so bad at home. And this book, it's really all about forgiveness and realizing that your family it's just, they're your family. At the end of the day, they do want what's best for you. That no matter how much they piss you off, or even if they don't understand you, or you can hate them or whatever, but you know, blood is a little bit thicker than water. And here I want to say that, you know, apart from the blood thing, is that family, it's about the people you choose to be your family. It's about the people who are there and stay there for better or for worse. So I am all about choosing your own family. And this book really illustrates that, and it helps you see that you may not be noticing it right now, but you have a full support system, and you can totally use it, because the people you call family and that you choose to call family are really always gonna be there for you. Next up we have Stay by Deb Caletti. Stay is about being in an abusive relationship, and I think a lot of people have this misunderstanding about what abuse can be. Your partner does not need to be actually, you know, hitting you or doing physical harm in order for it to be an abusive relationship. There's many ways that the abuse can go, you know, like making you feel really bad all the time, being jealous, controlling, manipulative, or just putting you down all the time. And this one does deal with a romantic relationship, but it can also be applied to friends, which is the way I saw it, and really, you know, checking to see who you are surrounding yourself with, and just like, whoa, there are so many signs that you miss, and this one really puts you in perspective. So I highly recommend it to anyone, really, anyone. It's just such a good mind-opening book. It really opens your eyes. Okay, so this is the end of part 1. I hope you found all of my comments useful, and you can check out part 2 right there. And I'll see you guys in part 2. Duh. Any questions, comments, or just about whatever regarding any of these books, you can leave them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer every single one of them. I will also be linking all of them to Goodreads, so that you can check them out, see other reviews, see if they sound appealing to you. And you can always send me a private message. I know a lot of people may not agree with them or may have not liked some of the books I mentioned, but these are books that help me personally through them, so feel free to share your thoughts if you've read any of them in the comments, or recommend some other books for other users regarding these issues. So go to part 2 and I'll see you there.